What's up, Taiwan? I'm Ethan Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. President Tsai is back in Taiwan after she concluded a 10-day trip that took her to diplomatic allies Belize and Guatemala and to the U.S. The highlight of the trip was a historic meeting with U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy in California. That meeting was criticized by China. Tsai spoke to the media after touching down. She said her trip was a victory for democracy.
台湾守护民主自由的决心得到民主伙伴的支持，也让我们和民主伙伴的情谊更加的坚定。
Meanwhile, China has sanctioned Taiwan's de facto ambassador to the United States. Beijing accuses Xiao Bi-kim of, quote, colluding with the U.S. to seek Taiwan independence. This means Xiao is barred from entering Chinese territory, including Hong Kong and Macau. Businesses with ties to her also cannot operate in China. This is the second time Xiao has been sanctioned by Beijing. Xiao seemed unfazed, posting on Twitter, "Wow, the PRC just sanctioned me again for the second time." China also announced steps against the Hudson Institute and the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. Both hosted President Tsai Ing-wen in the U.S. To find out more about the implications of China's sanctions, Harrell Hughes spoke to Roger Huang, senior lecturer at Macquarie University in Sydney, Australia.
So in the past 24 hours, China's foreign ministry has announced a number of sanctions against institutions and people who met Tsai during her transit through the U.S. And this includes the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library and the Hudson Institute. So what is the broader implication of these sanctions?
So the main key here, I think, is that these sanctions, their main point is coercion, right? It is trying to create this idea of fear that anyone who associate with the Taiwanese and also any or work on agendas that is diverged from the Chinese perspective could be a legitimate target of these type of coercive sanctions, which can then also extend to people affiliated, even nominally associated with these individuals or organizations.
Would you say that these are generally symbolic?
So on the one hand, it's mostly symbolic, right? So these targeted individual and organization sanctions are meant to create a sense of fear. What is more interesting is the actual sanctions that China usually practices, which is the economic diplomatic sanctions that has, Taiwan is obviously very familiar with this, with the pineapples and the fish, etc. But China has almost, I wouldn't say perfected, but have chosen this as a very convenient economic tool that has regularly used not only just against Taiwan.
Is this the sort of response we would expected from China from this visit?
So, of course, a lot of things are happening, right? These sanctions are probably the least they could do, right? So it's largely symbolic. Most of these individuals and organizations probably do not own assets or will not be visiting in Chinese-controlled territories. Of course, there are real ramifications. Now, there are other things that we should be concerned about, right? Of course, there was the Shandong aircraft carrier that was, had a first kind of military live exercise in the Western Pacific, right, into the east coast of Taiwan. Now, also, for me, what's more worrying is the local provincial authorities of Fujian declaring basically that would potentially board Taiwanese ships and vessels across the Taiwan Strait.
Taipei's former mayor Ke Wen-je will visit the U.S. beginning on Saturday. Ke is the leader of the Taiwan's People's Party, a minor party he founded in 2019. He is expected to meet with U.S. officials, companies, think tanks, and overseas Taiwanese. Ke has not officially announced the bid for Taiwan's presidency next year, but he's widely expected to join the race. He said he hopes to introduce his party to the United States as an alternative to Taiwan's two-man political parties.
国民党基本上对中国大陆太过于偏宠，民进党是求证，国民党是会证，那我们是不求证不会证。
Scammers in Taiwan are using a new method to swindle their victims: fake mobile base stations. Base stations are communication hubs that send and receive data signals from mobile devices. This is the first case of scammers using the equipment to defraud people in Taiwan. 30 people have been scammed this way over the past 3 months. In total, they lost close to $10,000. Police have arrested a 31-year-old man who's suspected of using a fake base station to send out phishing texts to people nearby. He would pretend to be from their mobile carrier and trick them into providing their credit card information. Electronic fraud and online scams are on the rise in Taiwan. Banks say fraudsters tried stealing nearly $74 million last year, more than in 2021. Stash Butler has this report.
Online scams and card fraud are major problems around the world. Here in Taiwan, you don't have to go far to find people who've been victims.
那一段期间刚好没有出国，然后但是是盗刷是国外的金额，所以就赶快觉得就不对劲这样子。
我是接到通知说你的卡已经锁住了，然后问他说因为你有刷游戏点数，应该是盗刷吧，我就说对。
Now, figures show that online fraudsters are working to steal more money than before. The value of attempted payment fraud in Taiwan ballooned from 2014 till 2019, when it dropped sharply. But since 2020, it's been back on the rise, hitting about $74 million last year. Police say fraud often comes through phishing scams and website data leaks. They've made a list of high-risk sites. It includes Singaporean e-commerce platform Shopee and Taiwan's books.com.tw.
有一些电商平台可能个资外泄情形比较严重，刚好有在这些网站高风险卖场网站上购物的时候，那你就有比较大的几率会接到这样的诈骗电话跟诈骗的情形。
Analysts at the Nielsen report say card fraud will cost the world $400 billion over the next 10 years. But even though the overall value of fraud is rising, that's because electronic and virtual payments are becoming far more common around the world. Fraud is also still just a tiny fraction of global payments, and that fraction is shrinking as banks in Taiwan and abroad are working to get more secure.
以前可能要达到比较高的金额才有事后的通知持卡人，那现在我们也把这个门槛降为3000元。
The world is seeing a huge rise in electronic payments as people move away from cash to card and start shopping more online. Now, fraudsters are finding more and more inventive ways of getting their hands on some of that growing flow of money. But stay alert for fraudsters and keep away from dodgy-looking sites. And analysts say your money is safer than ever. Alex Chen, Stash Butler for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan is battling a shortage of chicken eggs, but as Rick Lauer reports, help could be around the corner in the form of a lab-generated egg.
Taiwanese scientists hope this could be the answer to the country's chronic shortage of chicken eggs. A plant-based synthetic alternative, the first of its kind in Taiwan, recently tested out on consumers.
超好吃的，根本跟真的蛋没有两样啦，对不对？就很回味了。
Taiwan uses nearly 24 million eggs each day. That's about one for each person in the country. But cold weather and bird flu outbreaks have disrupted supply, forcing the government to spend over $60 million to help farmers upgrade hen houses and import millions of eggs. Now, scientists at Taiwan's Industrial Technology Research Institute, or ITRI, are using algae and soybean protein to create a substitute egg. And they say the result is potentially a healthier alternative to the original.
微生物的蛋白或者是我们现在比较夯的一些叫做藻类的蛋白，我们就可以达到低胆固醇，对人体比较好的这个氨基酸、蛋黄的绵密口感或者是蛋白的这种比较具有纤维性的口感上面呢，我们就可以在一颗蛋里面营造出不同的一个感觉。
With Taiwan's expanding vegan population, the team here believes these fake eggs could find a market long after the current crisis is over. Rick Laut for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan won numerous awards at a global food competition in Brussels. The International Taste Institute's Superior Taste Awards recognizes products of the highest quality. Taiwan's winning products include instant noodles, drinks, various sauces, and several types of tea. Many Taiwanese products scored above 90% and earned 3 stars, meaning the taste is exceptional. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, today we leave you with images of animals at London Zoo receiving their Easter treats. I'm Ethan. Take care, and I'll see you next time.